we have such an awesome collective. Like I always tell people about, you can't tell me about my cloud of witnesses. The way my cloud of witnesses is set up, you can't tell me that Jesus don't love me. Like, it's a lie. If you try to tell me he doesn't, like, look around, look around.
Like, I know you're not working right now.
Yeah.
I know you're not working right now. Get it.
She said, I know you're not working right now. What are we doing otherwise? What is this called?
You know what I mean. You know. Okay.
And what you mean is, are we recording? We are recording. Are we recording? We are recording. We're recording.
Hello, brunch breakers.
Breakers.
Hello.
So, in honor of Women's History Month, which is really 365 days a year, and in honor of our love and appreciation for Black History Month, that we're gonna make it every month, all month. This episode is about supporting your sisters.
I should hear your clapping.
Girl, she was doing the.
I was doing the, yeah. I was
Okay.
You know, both of us are loud. She tries to play that
Okay, right now you can't play that little.
strong silent type.
I'll do my best.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how cute you are? We're loving this yellow. We're loving this hair.
Thank you.
Yes.
Better
Yes.
give us bob curls.
Yes, I'm loving it.
I sit on Cat and Sab, not halfway decent, right?
Listen.
I could not do it.
Brunch breakers. This
Nerd.
is Renee. She's more than just a friend of the show. That's one.
Sister.
What's the other one, sister? That's the
A half and half. Wait.
that's not half. That's
That's funny. I was
that was
watching that last.
sister. That was the twins.
Tia and Tamara, yeah.
And then is the color purple. That's another sister type song. Isn't that sister one on there? That's different.
You've been on my mind. You and me, us never part.
Yes.
When you came to the show this week expecting home training, and you realized we were on here playing with Nate,
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna get it.
we're very sorry. We apologize in advance.
Yes. So this is who we're speaking with today. We're speaking with Nay. And so what's up with you? What's happening? What are you doing with yourself right now?
Myself right now?
Yeah.
I just want to say I'm sorry I've been pushing this back. Like, I know our friend has been about that wife mom hustle. So great. I got to girl. That's really how the last few months has been for me. Like, wife, mom, hustle, full-time job, small business, just going in 17 different directions and just trying to stay, I don't want to say sane, but just trying to stay balanced. And, you know.
But yeah, so you've had your hands in a whole lot of stuff. Wife, mom, hustle. Really?
That's been the plan. Being around y'all, I don't have no choice. So,
So what are you doing to find time for you?
Yeah.
How can we support a sister?
Yeah, exactly.
No, really, honestly, like over the last, probably since I would say pandemic wise, but I really have been able to really do that. Like, take the time. Like, I would go sporadically and get my nails done, or go, like, my husband gets me a massage, like, for whatever occasion. I think I held on to it for a year. I might still have one.
Oh.
So, just like thinking about those things that I've actually been able to take some time for myself. So it hasn't been as few and far in between. I would say it had been years ago. So I get my time. I had a wonderful birthday getaway. So that was like the beginning.
know. We were there.
I'm so glad that we were
How
able
it's
to
gonna
all
go
get
from now.
together. I'm so glad we were all able to get together one day.
Yes.
And the whole thing of supporting sisters and being for each other. That birthday, it was my birthday, it was Renee's birthday, and it was another friend's birthday in Atlanta. And our friend Jackie, who keeps calling every time we're on brunch, first brunch breakers. She's like my best buddy. I've known her since we were 14. We were like a long time ago. Long time. And gave a party at her house. I'll never tell my age. I don't do that. So yeah, I knew her last year. I met her last year when I was 14.
Girl, that means all these libations you're having on the show are no, you trying to get the law called on us. At least make it 7 years ago.
Oh, 7, okay, 7 years ago.
Yeah, let's at least be 10. You know.
I'll give you the 10. I'll give you the 10.
Let's go back now. Okay.
So, and she, Jackie and Kaz coordinated wonderful things for us for our birthday weekend.
Because we love y'all. Big heads and all.
It was so sweet and nice. I mean, we had the food, of course. That was like, we had a masseuse come and give us massages. Had that hooked up. So whenever we wanted, the girls was drinking downstairs, and it was pandemic friendly. It wasn't a whole lot of us.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
And for the most part, we really hadn't been together in such a long time.
Yeah, and it was just so nice. And we got our nails done that day. We got our nails done, right?
Oh, let me tell you about
your hair got hooked up.
No, let me tell you about how I've not been to a place back home, and I feel like I need to drive 4.5 hours just to go back to her because I love her that much. I had a whole experience, and I can't run that back home anymore. So I'm like, I wonder if I could swing that.
You can do it.
You
are always welcome.
How long is your drive? How long is your drive from you to them?
It's about 4.5 hours.
See, if I was like, well,
listen, when you get your license, it won't even take you that long to get here. Listen, we're supporting a sister, and we're going to support you in the process.
I do not know how to drive.
Of being road legal.
I'm a New Yorker who does not know how to drive. And
you say I'm a New Yorker who doesn't know how to drive, then that kind of like...
Well, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense because you don't need to drive in New York.
I don't have to. But when I moved to Jersey, I saw how it would be better if I had a car. It would definitely be better, or be able to get a car, rent a car when I need to go certain places. But the whole thing of the support of that was just such a beautiful weekend. And it just showed how much we all loved each other, you know, and it was just fun. It was fun, you know, and much needed in what we were going through, you know, and even to get you away, because like you said, you have your hands on all over you're all over the place at home, and to give you that little space to not just for you.
Yeah, I really appreciated it.
Yeah, that was good.
I got a lot to live up to this year. We'll just say that.
Like basically, you have a small business that's events, and so you support people in big life moments. And so, what part of choosing that as your vocation had to do with giving yourself the opportunity to show up for other people?
I think that one of the things that I am learning about myself and relationships with other people as well, is that I'm just big on showing up, whether it's physical, it's serving. I'm just big on just showing up and being there for people to know that you have somebody there for you, basically. You have somebody that is in your corner in the good times and the bad times.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'm learning about myself, like whether it's a familial relationship, whether it's a friendship, is that I'm going through this process of learning that I need that reciprocated.
Yes.
And that's a hard place to be in when you don't receive that. And that's the kind of person that you realize that you are. Like,
yeah, you're like, this is my love language, and I'm encountering people who don't speak it back to me.
right. I definitely encountered that a lot. I can say that business wise, the people that I've been able to partner with and collaborate with, and then in the season where we don't have a whole lot of it, then we're all trying to figure out some other avenue or some other way to continue to grow our business and actually be in business, is that supporting the other sister, supporting that other friend. Like, it's been a real collaboration thing that we're going through right now. I'm meeting with some other event planners, probably next week actually, trying to build another project where we are referring each other, referring our services, basically building another business entity within itself. And we're basically just, I'm going to support her business by physically being there. I'm a part of her team. She's going to do the same for me. The other person's going to do the same. So for me, the vacation itself just grew out of a place of service. I guess I've just always been
Service.
of that. Mm-hmm. That's what it is for me. It's a service for me. I think just showing up is big, man. I don't know. It's pre-COVID for me. Before COVID happened, before you get to weeding out relationships, knowing the strong ones versus the weak ones, and who's there for you and who's not. Long before then, showing up has always been big for me. And yeah, I've known you for 9,000 years. We're sitting there, and y'all have shown up for me. If you haven't been able to be there for me physically, you've been there for me spiritually, emotionally. You've been there for me in aspects that people I probably went to school with 20 years ago and still know, and still have in my life, but it's not the same.
We were talking about Nay being a giving person and being of service. And when you're that type of person anyway, you're a giver, giver, giver. After a while, it's like, okay, I'm giving so much, and then it goes into boundaries again. It always rolls into the boundaries.
When I tell you every issue about everything, will circle back to your ability or inability to create boundaries, to set them and enforce them. Everything.
And a certain way to enforce them. That's what me and Renee were talking about, because she was saying, it comes off like I'm just cutting you off. And you don't want to.
And that's okay.
Yeah, but it's a way to do it. It is. It is.
And that's okay.
Yeah, but still, it's a way to do it before not to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? To not to get to that point of cutting someone off like that. Look at the situation.
Yeah, you said there's a way to do it before you get to that point.
Yeah. Shouldn't it be? I mean, everyone, you don't have to cut. I mean, some people, yes. It depends on the situation.
That point. I think I've always got to the burnout point. And by then, the way my boundaries are set up.
But part of the problem is the way you got there. Because I have learned in this dance about figuring out how boundaries work, and what a lot of the issues that I have with people is because I did not set boundaries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did not say, in relationship for me, I need, I want, I will not accept.
And that's what I mean.
But I mean, sometimes we have conditioned people to behave out of order because we allow them to continue to show up reckless or incorrectly. Yeah. And then whenever we get to the point where we're exhausted because we have treated them the way that we would like to be treated, without telling them that I am treating you this way because this is my nature, and my expectation of your behavior in response to that is this, because nobody is responsible for what my boundaries are. Mm-mm. Like, I'm responsible for setting them and maintaining them. So I can say, I don't take work calls on Sunday.
Mhm.
And I could have people who call me every Sunday. I answer the phone and take the work call. So it's not their fault that they call me because I can walk around screaming and fussing and
Yeah, but you
saying,
allow it to be.
why do they call me every Sunday and they know I'm off? But if I answer the phone every Sunday and I'm off, I can't be mad at anybody else because I didn't set a clear boundary. Because I think one of the most beautiful things that I ever encountered that was kind of a whoa moment for me is I called a friend and I think I either got an auto reply, do not disturb text back, or she answered and said, I don't take phone calls between 6 and 7 because it's downtime for my family and we're either eating dinner or doing something together. So I'll call you back whenever the timing is over. And I was like, whoa, like you could tell people during this time is for me, this time is for my family, and that's a non-negotiable. Because when you think about the fact that there's 24 hours in a day, to decide that I set aside this hour to limit who, what, when, where, and why can communicate with me and sleep well at night, it was kind of like groundbreaking for me because I was like, wait, like, because I called her and I was like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could do that. Genuinely shocked because I'm 1,000% like, call me whenever, it's fine. And like you call me this week because that's why I said, you know, with work,
Mhm.
I'm not used to working from home.
Yeah,
And so
that's a whole nother thing. Because I'm learning that too. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing too. Yeah.
but it makes me feel like, oh, I'm never off. Like I don't know how to separate because I'm like, well, I'm home and I'm just watching TV, so I can answer this or I can do this or I can do that. And then it conditions people that it's
Yeah.
fine, it's okay, you know.
Yeah.
And then you be mad at all the people because it's like no one respects that I have a life of my own. Because I used to say that all the time. People act like I don't got stuff to do.
But you're answering the phone. You're answering that phone.
But then that's the funny thing is I meet the requests above and beyond and then complain that, well, why didn't you do X, Y, and Z for yourself? And it was like, well, because I had to do this. And it was like, hold up. You didn't have to do anything. You chose. And it's like, see, the way you just came for me in that you chose business is unacceptable. Oh, now I can create a boundary?
Yeah. Now you're like, I'm cutting you off. Like,
suddenly my boundaries work.
to go there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh,
But that's like Nay was just saying that, like, it's been a real shift for her in like learning that people are not going to meet you. You know, whenever people are like, well, you know, you met me where I was. And it's kind of like one of those things where if I'm meeting you where you are and where you are is always 3 steps outside your door, and I left my house and climbed a mountain and swam across a river and climbed through the snow and met you where you are, and you're like, you know, I can't do that. And it was like, where did the expectation come from that I'm a mountain climber and an Olympic swimmer and a biker or whatever else I had to be in order to get to where you are? And it's so much easier when on some occasions when I meet you where you are, I took 3 steps outside of my door and you were there. And it was exactly where I needed you to be. So if every time we meet, it's always where you are, then it's like a revelation for me where it's like, oh, so I've conditioned you to believe that you don't have to leave. Like, I'm DoorDash.
That's so true. That is so true. That is the perfect way to put it. And then I think about too, when we have our full circle moments where you just said, I walked out my door, I climbed this mountain, you went 3 steps out of your door. I think with this whole supporting your sister, supporting your friend, like, will you always be in a place where these people that you encounter, are they still going to be in that same place? Is there how you show up for them, how you encourage them, how you are willing to be there for them. What are the things that you are bringing to the relationship? Shouldn't it mean that they shouldn't always be in that same place?
Because it makes you wonder if it's actually a relationship.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. It makes you wonder if it's actually a relationship where I know that this relationship is changing me, and it may not be for the better. It may not be for the good. And I think something about supporting other businesses, supporting other women is like, you shouldn't remain the same.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be just.
It's like if I show up every day to water you and you know, like I'm cool if I show up every day to water you and you're the bamboo tree that grows like 30 feet in one day, but at 5 years of nothing, and then at 30 feet on at the end of the 5 years, and I'm like, I see you, that's right, I showed up in this. But if I show up every day and I'm watering you to a point where you can't even grow,
right?
Because I just made your space muddy.
Right.
Because I have overdone it, so it's like to the point where it was like I don't even know what I'm supposed to do, so I'ma just lounge like this is a hot tub. So it's definitely like a learning experience, and I think like we're fortunate in that we have such an awesome collective. Like I always tell people about, you can't tell me about my cloud of witnesses. The way my cloud of witnesses is set up, you can't tell me that Jesus don't love me. Like, it's a lie. If you try to tell me he doesn't, like, look around. And so it always strikes me whenever we step outside of that and encounter other situations, it really kind of puts like the emphasis on the beauty of what we actually have. Because in so many situations, in so many instances, in so many, it's like trying, because that's what I said for both of you in particular, when we were all talking about coming together to celebrate the two of you. And because we've been in a pandemic, but it's like, I can't ever remember a celebration or a situation that we've gone through where anything was happening, be it, you know, wedding, baby shower, birthday, like any moment in my life, like even in the moments, like I said, we were talking about in the other episode, when I lost my dad, like, you know, you and Nikita pulled up to the hospital. The last time I ever saw my dad, y'all were with me holding my hand. The last time I ever saw him alive. But, and so, you know, you don't drive, Mo. Fab, sorry. And
that was funny because I don't, and we figured out a way for me to get there. When I remembered how, because I blocked it out of my mind, because I couldn't remember when that was one of our first episodes. We were talking about that, and I was like, "How did I get to you?"
That's when we learned the value of editing, because there was a whole segment we had to cut it out because
whatever. But we worked it out and coordinated, and it was just very interesting. And we got there. But yes, of course,
But that's what I mean. You guys, at the drop of a hat, show up and show out for everybody and everything. And it was like in our minds, all of us were like, when have we really? Because the number of years that Fab has put together a banging birthday party and did all the details and everything for herself. And then by the time your birthday comes, like months out from people's birthdays, Fab is emailing and text messaging like, okay, so in T-minus 68 days is so-and-so's birthday. And we got to make sure, And it was like, how often in our experience are we celebrating you guys in the way that you celebrate all of us? And so it was really a gift to us to be able to do it, because we were like, oh, we about to get
other than the Airbnb, other than that, literally everything was so good. It was so, and just easy breezy, you know, and just chill, and even and at our gathering it was like kiki girlfriend type thing. It was just, you know, it was just cool. And that's when I was on Bumble looking at the Virginia and the Washington guys.
She's about to switch it all up. She's about to change her address for these fellas.
Oh, God.
She was like, wait a minute.
Maybe I should be thinking about leaving.
It was like, does my job have an office down the street?
What my Bumble looked like in New York.
She's like, hold up, wait a minute. I'm gonna need to figure out a situation. I'm like, just come and hang. Just come and
That
hang.
was very funny. I was like,
I'm
oh
sorry.
my,
You know how we love to get sidetracked.
you guys, yeah.
And but yeah, I just appreciate your honesty and your transparency about this journey with, you know, figuring out how to be supportive without depleting you.
Yes.
Like how to show up and support other people and not overextending yourself.
Yeah.
How to show up and also because it's almost like you have a limited amount of resources because surviving a pandemic and being in the house and all that takes a toll. There's a weight attached to it. And there is like if you're not getting rest, if you're not drinking water, if you're not doing all the things that you're supposed to
Take a toll
do,
on him. Yeah. You
yeah,
feel
the
like
thing
you
it's not as easy to automatically say yes in every situation. It's not yeah, well look, I said that and I'm like, as I minister to you.
should. Yeah. Yeah.
I have to learn how I'm still working on that.
And it's and like you said, saying it and giving those boundaries in the beginning compared to not saying anything at all and having it build up in you and in your mind you're doing it. Like you said, I don't know, people don't know I'm off on a Sunday, or you know, I don't know, but you're not.
But that's like with you with the dating,
One
where
thing.
you explain. Oh, go ahead, Mama.
I think that it's interesting that you guys brought up that way, or that how you set it up like that. How you set your boundaries and you say, I'm willing to do A, B, C, and D. I expect A, B, C, and D. I think in my mind, I'm not going up to my girlfriend or my friend and telling her, like, my kid has a game. I expect you to be there. I'm going to show up at yours. Not like this is a scenario or anything, but when
you got there pretty quickly.
With friends,
I
yeah,
don't
with friends is hard too.
Right. When I immediately think about boundaries and expectations, I think significant other. I don't think this is my.
But here's the thing: if it's important to you and you don't vocalize it, then you can't be upset with people for not knowing. And that's one of the things that I learned.
Learning. That's the thing that I'm learning.
And so it's okay. You may not say, if I'm coming to your kids' games, I expect you to be at my kids' game. That, you know, then people will be like, well, girl, don't come. Don't come. And you be like, but I want to come. I want to see your baby. What you mean don't come? Well,
You said it nasty.
like if you feel like if you feel like I gotta come because you came, then I don't know, I got a lot on my plate. But if you say to me, hey, like I would love it if you could come to a game, like let me know what your schedule is so we can work out a time that works for you so that you get to see, because I really appreciate the way you show up in this area, that area, and that area. And you know how best, because like you might show up, come to every game this person's kid has, and that's really a good example, because it's one of those things that sometimes people do it because they love sports. Sometimes people are doing it, they don't have nothing to do with your kid, but you see them and you be like, that's so sweet. I just love how you always show up. And it's like, oh, my cousin is on your kid's team. You're thinking that is so sweet. And so a lot of times, like, we're not having conversations. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, though, to be in an environment where you can be yourself and the people around you love and support you and encourage that.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's freedom in that.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, there's nothing I can't say to you. So if you said to me, look here, you was in North Carolina and you didn't come to my baby's game, don't come sleep at my house tomorrow. And I'll be like, you know what? That was dead wrong. And I apologize. And it won't happen again. Because you know good and well that me sitting in this drive-thru at Zaxby's was not worth missing the baby's game.
And I appreciate that you know that about me.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, well,
But we thank you. Like, you are probably one of the first episodes that we've recorded a brunch break on brunch break time.
yeah,
When we do
the actual time.
Oh, wow. I was
wife, mama, small business owner, full-time frontline worker. and student. Like, girl,
A lot.
all the things.
I'm not doing that anymore. I'm down one hospital now. I'm down to one hospital. But now instead of that, I work more in the event bridal field. So I've been picking up more at the bridal shop with the Black-owned boutique in downtown Durham. So
What is the name of that? Because you know we love
that is
to
Gavin.
support a sister.
Absolutely. That is Gavin Christensen Bridal.
Yes.
I would love working with her. I learned a lot from her, and yeah, she does 900 million things as well. But I'm just grateful that it put me in a space where I could learn from her as well. And it's not just in this particular industry or this field. Like I'm just learning an enormous amount of things business wise and like education wise, like physically and school wise from her that I don't think I would have been in a place to do that if I had like it's 2021 and I thought my personal business would have been in a different place than it is now. I don't think if it had been that I would have been in this place to learn from her the way that I've been given the opportunity to. So it's another thing with just collaboration and not being afraid to work. It's not even real like a competition. And I know we were on this whole thing in 2020 about collaboration over competition. But especially the collaborating with you guys, Kaz, you have always been there to help me, like since the beginning. Like literally, if I had to make that call, I needed an assistant for that day because I couldn't find anybody else. You know the number of times you have come from 5 hours at the most away just to help me in that aspect. So
That's because I love you.
Well, thank you. I love you too.
And I love that you let me jump up and down and be myself. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's so funny because like one of my favorite part about doing the weddings is that moment where like, okay, everybody hold hands.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because everybody's all stressed and clenched and serious. It's like, we're getting married. Y'all can calm down now. Hold hands. And I'm like, okay, everybody hold hands. Take a deep breath. And now jump up and down. We're getting married. We're getting married. And they just laugh like, who is this idiot? And I'm like, but it's like such a release.
It's a release.
It's such a release.
That situation.
Because you forget. You forget. You're worried about flowers and place settings and blah, blah. And getting married. Because she planned my wedding. And she was like, so I have these 10 decisions for you. And I was like, I don't care. You've known me for 1,000 years. You can pick it, and I know it will be beautiful. And it was gorgeous. And it was literally what I don't think there was.
She had to ask you though. She had to.
Yeah, but I was like, I don't know how people make all these because I was like, is my husband still coming? Yeah, then I don't care about the rest of this stuff. And she was like, that's why I'm here. She found like she lives in a different state. She found like this gorgeous venue and like negotiated all these things and put all these things together. And I was like, I don't even know how you did half of the things you did or how, like who, what, when, where, why, or how. And it's just gorgeous. You walk into this room and you're like, whoa. Okay, we're going to talk forever. Yes. Thank you both. I think you're phenomenal human beings, and I'm grateful you're a part of my life. Thank you.
Love y'all.
Love you.